a contract item. Either way, Marc Morano says taxpayers are the ones getting fleeced. We should point out, Mark, before I get to you, that the Federal Acquisition Service issued a memo saying we'd hope to get someone on this from them, but to little avail. But we do have the memo that the solar panels were a component of a larger system, and the panels themselves are not a contract item. I argue we can debate the details all we want. China's a beneficiary, and we got into this because we didn't want China being a beneficiary.
Yeah, but the Inspector General of the GSA, their own report, actually said this should not have happened. The contractor said, is this okay to buy these solar panels from China? It was expressly forbidden as part of the stimulus. And here's the irony here. Not only are we helping China, but the reason given for Solandra's failure, the reason given for Abund Solar's failure, for all these other solar failures, is that China undercut our market, that there was a glut of Chinese products, that they were able to dump it. Because essentially, both the U.S. and China were dumping tens of billions of dollars into all these companies trying to prop them up. And China had a bigger spigot to spend. And now we ended up putting protective tariffs on solar panels from China, but we still bought them from China in order to prevent China from selling them in the U.S. So it's a classic government boondoggle. Here we are, our solar companies, they allege, are failing because the Chinese imports, and we're actually buying them against what the Inspector General says is against the rules laid out by the law.
It was brought to light by the contractors themselves. They said, is this okay? We're getting this from China. Leaving that aside, the argument for the government getting involved in green energy and the rest is that China underwrote it. They're going to have a big lead in batteries and panels and everything else if we don't get off the stick fast. So here we are doing something presumably meant to sort of take the oomph out of China and be a threat to China. And we've made China a bigger threat and a richer one at that.
We have. In fact, if you look at where China's going, so many of the environmental left here in the country, even people, the New York Times will say, first of all, they love China's one-party rule because they can impose what's better for the people without the messiness of democracy. So China is looked up at as a model by environmentalism because of all the investments they're putting in renewables. The problem is they're also putting in massive amounts of coal plants. So in a way, is China serious about renewables or not? The bottom line is renewables aren't going to power the United States or China. There's a report out by the international agency, the EIA, last month showing that $250 billion are spent globally on these renewable energy, including solar panels like this, which exceeds all the profits of the major oil companies, including Exxon, combined. And this money is going to produce less than 3% of energy worldwide.
Well, I think it goes back to whether it's a waste of money or not. But I tend to agree with you so far. The history isn't really encouraging. But the irony of all of this is that the country we were trying to beat is the country we're enriching. Albeit with one project, I suspect there might be more, but it is a damning irony.
There might be more.
A damning irony. Mark, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Neil.
In the meantime, talk about a